Okay, so it's Jack and Ash here from Fitness Lab again, and what we're going to talk you through today is how you can progress from not being able to do a push-up to be able to be doing full push-ups on the floor. It's a classic goal that most people have, and I'm going to take you through some simple steps on how you can get there. The first step is to avoid kneeling push-ups, and I'll explain why. If I have Ash come onto the mat and go into a kneeling push-up position, what is an often common mistake or issue that most people have when they go into this position is that it doesn't allow you to have the ability to set your hips in the right position. So if I ask Ash to do it incorrectly and have a big arch in his lower back here, that is the position that most people can end up in. They lose the core position and you can see their hips stay high and we've got that big tilt in the hips. We don't want that. I don't want to speak as a generalization, that's going to happen to everyone. You can set up in a position where you can adopt a proper position. So Ash can do a better version here, where he draws his hips underneath his body, pulls his belly button in, and then he performs the movement. And you can see his hips are now lowering with the rest of his body. So we've got a nicer position. So you don't have to rule it out immediately, but we think, and I think, that there are better versions that are more accessible for you to do. The first one is just simply an incline push-up. Now we can do this in a couple of ways. The best way is to get a squat rack in the gym, wherever you are, and set up a barbell at an appropriate height for your ability. Here, we can adopt the perfect full body position for a push-up in a much safer and nicer way. So if I have Ash come in here, he's going to set up his hands in a normal push-up position, and then he's going to take his feet back, and then the position and angle he wants to be in is so that when he lowers down to the bar, it's going to hit the middle of his chest there, as if it's the floor, and then push away. And here, what you can really hone and practice is this hip position, shoulder position, and elbow position, and it translates much nicer to then going down onto the floor. So, as I mentioned with the kneeling push-up, you can see here Ash has his hips locked in, so he's a perfect straight line from shoulder, hip, ankle and knee, and he doesn't lose that throughout the whole movement. His elbows come to 45 degrees rather than out wide in this 90-degree position, and then he lowers to the bar, middle of the chest, and then pushes away. The simple progression here is to simply lower the bar as you get better. So if you can get to 10 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps on a certain height, then progress and lower the bar. If you don't have a squat rack or access to a barbell to set this up, you can use a bench. Obviously, this is set at a permanent height, so you can't change it. However, it does work just as well. So Ash is going to set up in that position. Again, as you can see, it all sets up in a very familiar way to what it did on the barbell. Everything else can be practiced the same, that hip position, that elbow angle, making sure we don't lose the position in the hip and the lower back. And again, we can progress this by adding more reps to get more comfortable. Once you feel you're ready, you can then progress to the full push-up variation. Now, there are some ways you can do this. I'm going to give you a few options. The first one could simply be practicing the eccentric portion of the movement. So that is where you're going to set up in that full push-up position at the top, hips locked in, and then the eccentric part is when you're lowering and the muscle is lengthening. So Ash is going to slowly lower all the way to the ground in a controlled fashion, keeping that tight hip position. He's going to release his hands, and then he's just going to come back up to the start. This will help you build the strength to help you lower all the way down in that controlled fashion. This you can then slowly build week on week, add reps, increase the time. Once you're then happy, you can then go into full push-ups. So from here, hips locked in, all the way down, chest just touches the floor, then you drive away. And again, from there, you can progress and progress with different variations. You could do pause reps, so Ash can hold at the bottom and then drive away. And the variations of that are endless. But that is a very simple guide of how you can start from not being able to do a push-up to be able to doing variations of full ones.